No, we're both on,
Your
but mine keeps dropping.
It's
So,
Brigade Tower. Like box shape building.
Yeah.
Is
I'm not enjoying.
nightclub and moving. It's all got stuff, windows and lighting and things like that.
The background.
There you go. Record. Thank you, Roman. We can start.
All right, call to order. And public comments, and there are no public here right now, so this is not gonna happen. Community updates is the police, and they're not here, so that's not gonna happen. Were they invited, you know?
I always invite him, but he's not able to make it.
Actionable items is the approval of the April 1st minutes. Please review.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? So moved. We'll move it into discussion items for the agenda. Okay.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
Yes, so I asked Mr. Nunez to add me to the agenda. I know that there were some conversations related to some of the project updates and questions, maybe some concerns. So I just wanted to kind of talk through that. Several of you have been here long enough to know that we had some augmentation as an organization. And we have a projects team now that actually serves as a conduit to shepherd the various projects through. And that's working in partnership with, trying to think the ones that may have a level of through part would be mobility. You've heard from Parks and Recreation consultants related to the Cuban Avenue Park, related to the streetscape improvements, the safety, roadway safety improvements that you all discussed late last year, and then added some additional features or intersections to that. So, you know, we work as a conduit with those partnering agencies to kind of help shepherd those along, whereas they may not get some of the same level of attention. Not saying that they wouldn't, but you know, we have a team of folks that that actually work to shepherd those through. The monthly updates that you all receive is the same update that goes to the CRA board. We started that probably sometime late last year, early last year, 2025. And then we started to share those with the community advisory committees. So, you know, in a sense, we're providing more information than we have since I've been with the agency. If there are more detailed questions that you have, please let Mr. Nunez, flashback to Jesus, but Mr. Nunez know. And then if he's not able to answer, he will, you know, touch base with the respective individual on our team. I know you've seen Bryce Farringer, you've seen Nicholas Bennett, you've seen Corey Robinson related to some of the gateway signage. And if you haven't noticed, many of them have been repaired or restored. So the twisted metal's gone and they're, you know, back being nice and shiny. So, you know, we have folks in place to help expedite some of those projects related to the community advisory committee and the specific CRAs. I did invite Ms. Melissa Martinez, who is the supervisor for that division or arm of our office, to kind of go into more detail about some of the projects in Drew Park. And I know that you have, it's in your packet, but she's going to kind of walk through that with you all. And then will answer any questions that you all have related to any of the programs or projects that are going on, specifically in your department. Ms. Martinez?
I think so. Presentation.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Melissa Martinez. Like I said, for the record, I'm the senior project supervisor for the CRA. Yeah, we went through a lot of changes. I don't think I have been here for a couple of years. My staff is usually the ones that attend because they're the ones that project coordinators for each of the projects. But since you want to have it a little more, I want to give you a little of the backside on things that you might not see in the report, but they're happening. And so I put this presentation together. I'm concentrating more. The first page, and these in your packets. So the first page starts here. It's pretty much what the reports are gonna start moving now, because we need to abide by ADA compliance. So I had to take out all the colors, all the red lights, green lights. And as you can see, this is what I have left. So the data is there. New things that I put in the report is I have the notes at the end of the table that are anything that I'm not able to find because some of these ones are before our time. I try to do some research. But if it gets too much, I might just say I'm unable to find the information, or the CRE board requested the dates. If I didn't have the dates, I need to put the why it's not a date there for them to have it approved. Some means that if you have $100,000 or less, it doesn't have to go to the CRA board. That's a purchasing policy guideline. So some of them I say it doesn't have to go to the CRA board, so it's not, you're not going to see a date of approval. The report on the presentation may look a little bit different because I noticed, and I recommended my staff to start working on the format to maybe make it a little easier to read and understand. So the dates are going to come first before they put the information on what the update is. That way you can keep track of the dates of the life of the project. I don't put in here everything that is happening because it will take about 10 pages, like step by step, and I'm going to show you why. If you go to the next page, is this is for the Beaver Park project. What I'm listing here, it took about a year just for the permit to be approved. The reasoning behind that is construction services has a requirement of a preliminary plan review. When you go and you're gonna start a project, they meet with the design team and the fire department and the building department, and they try to check, they make sure that there's no issues on the plan so that they don't get disapproved on the first round or at least the second round of approval. Last year, they implemented a new site plan review program. It only lasted from January to November. They discontinued in November of last year, but we were in that window that we had to apply for that review before we can even apply for a building permit. And you can see in October was the right-of-way permit submittal. In December, it was finally the site plan was approved. So in February, we were able to submit for the building permit. At the same time, you also opened the utility permit, and then in April, the building permit was approved. This set of permits that that we received, now I'm going to go out for a request for proposal for a contractor for a construction phase. We always go into the, if we're going to do a design build, we want to have a permit ready set before we go out to get it, just to avoid having any extra cost or anything, any additional costs that we're not foreseeing. And then right now, I know that there's a meeting that is scheduled for next week for the design team and Parks and Recreations and Contract Administration to review the scope of work for the request for a proposal. And the process for a request for proposal takes about 4 to 6 months for them to then decide the decision be made who the construction company is the one that's going to get the project. This is, any questions on this one?
Just one question.
Sure.
So the process that you go through for building permit approval, is that the same as like if I was just a regular commercial person, I would have to go through the exact same steps, or does the CAC go through different steps? So we don't get any different.
It's a city project. No, the only thing that we get is that we have an assigned client facilitator with permitting. that if we have any questions internally, we can go ahead to that person. But it's the same process. So then we pay the same fees that everybody else pays. We get a break on utility, they don't charge us for fees or the right of way permit, but the building permit, we get charged.
And also it's the same timeline.
Yeah, correct. They go on a queue, it goes on a queue, and there is a team also assigned, a plan review team, and that's why we get that preliminary plan review. So then we have a design team and they have the client facilitator, so then it goes to them when it comes in for permitting, or for any kind of permit, it will go to the same team. But for anything else, it's the same process as anybody else, any developer that comes into construction services and apply for a permit for construction. On the left side here, I put like information, so when you see in the number one, it says the contract number, the BLD number, that's the building permit number. The CBO, this is a record that we have to submit some materials to the building official for approval, and then the right-of-way permit. If anybody's curious to find out exactly what the status is, where they're at, how it works, that's the instructions here, how to get to the permitting, Acela. And then you can just type in the number and it'll give you that information, so give you all the information on it's public record. Is the next one? And go to the next one.
So when you say it's public record, so like, if I wanted to go search for it online, I could go search with the building permit number.
Do you have the address or the building permit number? Yeah.
And you don't have to have
An account?
an account.
No. The only thing that you have to have an account for, and you have to be in the record, is to actually, view the plans. The certain things for the actual construction plans, but you can find out this list here on the right, this list is just the process. So it says that, the application was reviewed, site was reviewed, building, mechanical, electrical, so that you can tell that everything's been completed and it's right now on the issuance, which is when it gets approved, which sits on issuance until they put a contractor's license on the record to issue the permit.
But we can follow that online.
Interesting. Second one. This is the mobility connectivity safety improvement. What I did was I went ahead and I put, there's the updates that my staff put on the updated box. But I also, I think there was some stuff that was here for September. I wanted them to make it clear to put it kind of like in schedule type. Oh. So right now, the 90% permit drawings are gonna be presented at the June CAC meeting. I'm assuming that's okay. And once they're completed with those drawings, it'll come back in September with 100% before they submit those for permit. Now, this one is different because it doesn't need a building permit. It's a right-of-way permit, so the permitting process should be faster than the building permit. Questions on this one? No. And the third project, the Lois and Grady, the landscape, streetscape, and safety audit. I went ahead and put kind of a schedule of what's going on and what's going to be happening. Right now, as you can see in the pictures, they're clearing and grubbing and marking the areas in the district. And then the landscape, we should start, the installation of landscape, it should start in July until I think almost the end of September. They're gonna be the pavers and pavement installation also is gonna be between June and July. And they have a substantial completion for July. Now, the monitoring period it's gonna be between June and October. That's a guarantee of contractor because it's all most of it is landscaping to make sure that the irrigation system, it is working and it's not trying to plant or anything is happening. So that's why that particular task is longer than the other one, that it's past the completion date.
Is there going to be any kind of delay due to the watering restrictions that we've got on, or do we have any?
I haven't heard anything about that. That's a good question. Again, that's one thing. And also, there is a new information webpage If you can scan the QR code in the corner of your page, and it'll take you to the engage page, and it shows you the updates on the project. I think we're creating one for, yeah, the mobility one. I asked Nick this morning, but they didn't have it ready, so I'm sure that could be up here. Now, if there's anything that you would like to see or that you think is missing from the tracking reports, that you would like to be added to it, any information, or would it help to have somebody from staff come in quarterly and do kind of like an data that's fit? What do you think?
I mean, the information that you have in here is substantially more than what we have been seeing, right? So even just adding the dates that you have on the right-hand side, as far as, okay, what's going to be accomplished in the next, past 30 days, what's going to be accomplished in the next 30 days, right? So we're meeting monthly,
Okay.
right? So just what does our look ahead look like,
Mhm.
as far as kind of what's going to be completed? And
So,
if we get this on a quarterly basis, I mean, that would be,
so we asked for the consultants to come in. And we've been asking for months, not a year. Haven't gotten. We still want this. We asked for that many times. So what's stopping with our subcontractors to come in?
So ultimately, subcontractors have finished their portion of the work. Right now, it's between the departments that we're partnering with and us as a
So
staff.
the whole job has been turned over to the city. There's no contractor involved overseeing this.
No, after it relates to mobility, there is a component, but the other
Okay, so-
pieces are
But
done.
we've been asking for the person who put these designs together to come and give us an update. So you're telling me Una's not involved anymore? Because I thought Una was.
No, she may be coming back. I believe I saw something, later this month.
So we'd like to see Una. And.
She's not on contract yet for her to come back.
Come back.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
The safety and mobility, we've been asking, okay, for somebody to come and tell us from the consultants on what they propose to do. And no one has come in, and as well as the park, and no one has come in. But
If
we've
I'm
been,
not mistaken, there was an update that was provided October, November.
October, November had to do with the July walk, wasn't the overall, we still want that. We want the presentation of what is, so, especially safety and mobility, it is a monster, right, of things. Right, this all started back in 2019 with an idea, 2020, a little bit in 2021, and then some things with, little by little, we had, consultants here, consultants there, presentations here, and 22, 23. It's 2026. We haven't broken ground. So we've been asking, even some of these people haven't even been around when we've been asking. This body's been asking. So, now you're telling me they're not around, but they were around back then. So, I mean, is there like a gatekeeper? Is there someone who's trying to keep us from the information, talking to people? So, I mean,
The information is coming from our staff. That's why we have individuals in these roles to manage these projects,
So
to shepherd them through.
projects, we haven't been getting this information. Okay, this information, as you stated, has not been like this. Okay, and we've been asking for more and more and more and more. So what did it take to finally get this to this point? To get a little bit more complex? I mean, detailed of what we're doing. We're working about millions of dollars. Okay, millions of dollars. That we proposed and put on the table. We can't get someone to give us an update on the scope. I'd like to see the scope of each project, because this has been going on for years. And we all got other things to do, okay, instead of doing this, which means we're not gonna remember the details unless we spend a full-time job doing this, and that's not what we do. So it's frustrating to get to this point when we've been asking for something more detailed, to finally get it now. But we still haven't gotten it. So today to be told, they're not around anymore. Well, a little while ago was because they charge money. Okay? Talk about millions of dollars. Oh, it's not their scope to come back. Cedric, we have a responsibility with taxpayers' money. Okay? I would like to see, once again, a detail of what's going into the park and an update. What's going on with Lois and Grady? And I thought it was Una coming in because I believe very clearly that was talked about in a meeting here. And definitely a safety and mobility project. Whoever designed this needs to come back and say, hey, this is what we put in motion. Because yeah, these dates are great, but I know these things started a long time ago. So what happened in the last 2 years? I don't know. But I do know we were gonna break ground in spring of last year for the park. And I do know we were asked for $170,000. In addition, that we still don't know what we approved it for. The details still haven't come back to us, right? I do know we've been asking for these things. And we have a responsibility. And I'll tell you what's very angering is that I was watching, the government channel the other day. And I saw a workshop from Hillsborough County. I think it was Councilman Hayden. And he commented and said, you know, the CRAs were supposed to be, you know, for blight areas, this and that and whatever, and, you know, how much was put into Drew Park, you know, because this all had to do with the race and wanted to come and get, you know, something about the CRA money. That's what that was about in that context. And someone said, well, X amount, how much has been spent, X amount, just, you know, this has been going on since 2004 and I haven't seen much change. I just about fell out. Because we have all these wonderful packages going on. And then I had to say, you know what? Sometimes you have to look and see that somebody's telling you the truth. Because we've had these projects in place for a long time. And we still have nothing to show for it. So he was right. And then I was just talking to Nick, and he showed me an article that came out today talking about us.
The article from it's like the Rays, Tampa Bay Rays fan page. And like the title of the article is the Drew Park CRA is the least productive CRA in Tampa. And it was quoting the councilman in a conversation.
Now, do you guys really feel we've been doing nothing since you've been on the board? Because that's a reflection on us.
I think they meant productive in terms of the collections and annually.
I heard him speak. I don't talk about the article, I'm talking about what I heard him speak. And that wouldn't be an accurate description of our work. If anything, we've gotten compliments from people in the city, so you guys are the ones that work, you know, that get things done. Yeah, but we can't get to the finish line. We still would like to have people come in and explain what their project was that we approved. And if we gotta pay them, then we gotta pay them.
So let me ask you a question. What would be the impetus of them coming in when I'm sharing with you that we have all of the information that they've completed?
The impetus is we haven't gotten it.
And we can share that information if it's available. I can tell you that the park is what, 90% done with the design phase. And if you remember, and I can't speak to what happened previously, but I can tell you since March of 2024, all we've done is talk about what the priorities were, and we have been building to the point that we're at.
And we've been asking for somebody to come in and give an update, Cedric.
And you've had
And we
Playmate, you've had those consultants come in. We had the director for mobility come in with his staff to talk about Eric Harwell Road and some of the concerns, and that was following after the meeting with one of the board members.
So, okay, we're not gonna agree, okay? Because obviously, if we were satisfied with the request and what we were getting, we wouldn't keep asking, okay? Do we have to make a motion to get Una in here and the guy, you know, from, you know, the Tektronix and the other one for the pacemakers to come in and, because what was the approved project from them? I mean, do we need to make a motion for that? Because we've been asking for a long time and it just gets not even a direct response as to why they're not coming in. When we're not done, we know we're professionals here, you know?
Understood?
It feels like somebody's been kicking the can down the road without telling us straight up, and we're just like, let's begin. This is, yeah, much better than we've been getting, but we haven't been getting this. And most of it starts with, October 2025 or whatever. Well, what happened previously? Because we were supposed to break ground, as we were told, last year in the park. What happened? Well, I don't know what happened, but I know you guys asked for $170,000 more. And nobody can still explain to us that we've been waiting since November for the details.
It took a year to get a permit to this. That's probably why there was no groundbreaking ceremony, because until you have a permit, you have some big construction to build, you cannot have a groundbreaking ceremony.
Okay, so why wasn't it? That's an example. As an example, okay? So why were we told that all this is going on? Well, you know what? Because we're not getting communication, Cedric. Una, I know, is living out of state. Can she zoom in? So you give us an overview of what project we approved. What project did we approve on each one of those? What did we approve? We don't need the last one, the tier 1, 2, 3, but that was recent. But there's things that have been done a year ago. I don't know about you guys, but my memory is not that great. And no one's come in to give us an update on these projects, and it's billions of dollars. What do I have to do? Where do I have to go to ask for this? Tell me, because I'm tired of asking.
If you would like to make a motion, my suggestion would be that you make a motion for the scope of work for all the projects that have been listed in your update, and then we will work to provide that information.
I would like the person that we paid for to update us what the final project was. Not want us to talk to those people? Is there a problem with talking to the people we paid for?
No problem.
Okay. Think we should get what we've been asking for.
There a motion being on this?
Actually, she's chairing the meeting and.
Right, she should make the motion, whatever. Unless you hand over the chair to the vice chair, you can make the motion.
Hand it over to you temporarily so I can make the motion. You are now the chair. Unless you want to make the motion.
Oh, you've said the motion, you've got it in your mind what you would like to have.
I'll temporarily pass chairmanship to you.
Okay, so we have,
So I now can make a motion. Is that correct, Felix?
Yes.
Okay, so my motion is that we bring in the consultant who created the final scope of each project that we approved to bring us back up to date as to what we approved. Park, on the safety and mobility, and Lois and Ray. That is my motion.
Second that motion?
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, next. Second.
Would you like to do a roll call vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Yeah, was that, you were,
No,
oh, you took question, okay.
Yeah, no.
All right,
I
so
said
the
aye.
motion is approved to bring in the consultant that will bring us up to date on each of the projects that we have requested, as per the motion. That's it.
Since I'm not the chair right now, I'll also ask, do we need to make a motion for the dollars to be if they charge? Like if there's going to be a fee, do we need to, is that fall under special something on a
No, it
budget?
should be part of
I
the
don't need to.
project scope.
Two of them are already scheduled. 2%.
I'm sorry?
You have two of the consultants that are already scheduled to present. One of them is coming in June for one of your projects, and for the other one, we have a public meeting that one is gonna be at.
Yeah, which is interesting that there's a public meeting with Una and we can't get to talk to Una before the public meeting.
When is the public meeting scheduled?
I think that was in your agenda, sorry. I think I'm gonna jump in. Just to let them know.
So
I was
don't
going to
you
make
think
an
we should have gotten an update before we do a CRA meeting? But by the way, how do I take Chairman back or I leave it for the rest of the day? That's fine, I mean, she wants to.
It's
No, I'm happy to.
You pass it back.
Pass it back to you.
If you're done making motion, then. Here, let's go back to.
So, where are we? Cedric, do you have anything else to add or Miss Melissa?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
No one has
Here with
questions
us.
for this meeting?
I would, what do you anticipate happening at this Lois and Grady thing?
It's an information meeting about the project that they're coming in to do construction. So to have since it's gonna be affecting the different businesses, the one that the Parks Department and the consultant wanted to let them know how they were facing the project out. And then if they have any questions or any comments, then they can do that.
So how are you, which is a good idea.
I didn't do that, by the way, he said they'll take care of
Felix
it.
did it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
They
that.
communicated, yeah. Mhm.
which is a good idea. The problem is that we don't know what's being presented before the public finds out what's being presented. So, you know, it would have been nice to have gotten Una in here, how, but that's beating that subject right now.
Is this the announcement that's being made?
So, I mean, if you don't mind, I have a question, because we're already starting construction, which means that drawings are approved. So what is the expectation of you to see from the design team of design that is already approved? There's nothing gonna change, because it's been approved and permitted, and it's going into construction. It's just to have an idea of what the information is that you're looking for.
You're talking about this meeting or you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the project itself. So the mobility connectivity, you're gonna have on June 3rd, the 90% permit set is gonna be, or permit plans are gonna be presented to you by the consultant. They're coming to present that.
For who? For what group?
For the mobility connectivity and improvement project district-wide.
Okay, so that's information we're getting now, okay, from the June, which we would have liked to have seen him a couple months ago. Okay, but so now you're telling me he's coming in June. Who's the gentleman
Well,
who's coming in June?
I don't know the name of the gentleman because this is next project, huh?
I'm not sure exactly.
Is it, yeah, it's gonna be presented to the CAC, if it's 90%, usually it's a 60, 90, and 100% drawings that they're getting presented, because that's usually how the design team works. But the 90%, I'm gonna have to check with Nick,
So
because
they-
they work with mobility.
They're coming here, Melissa?
For the VPA.
Yeah, it's either mobility or the consultant, but somebody that has the drawings.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the consultant, so if it's mobility, you have the consultant come with mobility. That would take care of everything.
Yeah, it's the same group who made the presentation last year.
So in June, we're getting them. Una, we're doing a shared meeting, so we were not, going it with everybody else.
But
They're bringing up things that you already are aware of. You already know the scope of the project, and we're just sharing with the community now because they have to be made aware of what's going on in the community. With the projects. I don't think it's new information that you have.
because this is already, once construction starts, the design team usually doesn't come back unless they're change orders or they're changes.
Something on Lois, and we have a rule of trying to finish it in an hour, so trying to finish quickly. But
Okay.
how many, crosswalks with lights are going up in Lois and Grady?
That's a good thing, drawings.
There you go. How many are getting, new curbs? I don't know. How many are we gonna repave with those, little facade bricks? Don't know. Which trees are going up? We don't know. That's the update we need. As Melissa said, you may not know this. I don't think you were around the whole time, okay?
Mhm.
But some of this started when we were looking at papers many years ago, at least 3 years ago. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I don't retain all that much information. Okay?
Yeah.
So do you understand now, we wanted a, let's call it a refresher course? Okay, so it's a quite rhetorical question, all right? So that's what we're looking for. So I'm glad you're gonna do this, but my question would be, is how are we getting this out to the people? Because today is what, the 6th, and this is the,
I've ordered yard signs for all of the district. I'll be picking them up on Friday, bring them up south, put them in. Don't be wait till Friday. We've started posting on social media, and we're gonna do a targeted mailer to the businesses on the district, on the 2 impacted streets.
And if you're connected to our social media, we would ask that you.
Share. Yeah, we need your help to help us spread the words too with your neighbors and other things that they make.
you can do them for the park too, you think?
Yeah, when we get to that.
Well, we did the groundbreaking ceremony, we're probably public.
And before then, we're gonna talk to the consultant. Since we probably don't have a July meeting, we're waiting to August then to talk to the consultants on
What
parks.
consultant are you trying to talk to the design team? I mean, I can bring them, but there's not gonna tell you anything different on an approved set of plans. It's already approved the design.
I
Yeah, but-
want to see what they, listen,
This is gonna be for the June meeting, that this was already planned for the June meeting? And the June meeting is gonna be when? Because I didn't see.
Third Wednesday in June.
Third week.
June 3rd, okay. Oh, thank you. That's what I'm thinking about.
Michael, quite sure. So there's 3 projects that we've been talking about here, right? So to your points, I mean, number 3 is, it's been approved and it's gone under construction, right? So those are the design plans that you're talking about that can't be changed because it's already been approved. But for projects 1 and 2 that are still in the design phase, that might be to the point that you're talking about where you want to talk with the consultant or the design team member to answer some of the questions that we may have collectively.
I mean, none of us here will work a project without going back and talk to the person one more time before we get into, into actual, shoveling and going. I mean, none of us here would do that. None of us here would do that. Okay, thank you.
I guess just a clarifying question here. So do we need to make a motion to get this level of detail then on a quarterly basis, or is this something that can be provided?
No, I can have my staff provide it on a quarterly basis, that's fine. Yeah.
We're moving now to the quarter.
A quarterly basis is, it's really like you've gone 3 months without knowing what's going on with the projects. So every 2 months, I think would be a little bit better than quarterly basis.
Well, you
Right
have
now,
to
we're going
remember-
into a July that we're not gonna get anything on, right? So if we got
Really
this
just
now,
on the design phase, I mean, there's not really much that's probably going to be accomplished within 2 months.
so we have, today is what, June, probably May, right? So when will be our next, meeting, which is right after our last meeting, I mean, our listen meeting.
I think in combination, right? So if you get the detailed stuff that we have in this package, which is very helpful, but then, a commitment of improving the monthly updates that we have on the comment section.
Mhm.
Felix, I think that you put together, right? But you get from the design or the.
No, I don't, the tractor.
The district report is mine.
Okay.
So my team goes, they go in there, they do their updates on their projects. We're managing, just to give you an idea, we're managing 60 projects right now. We have 8 districts that we manage. So the staff that does, all of them everybody has a sign, even myself, I manage some of the projects as well. So then they go ahead and update that, and then I look at it, make sure that everything is correct before I send it to the managers and the CR report. So, yes.
So I'm just saying, if those notes get updated to where it's improved about, okay, what happened, last 30 days, did that get accomplished? What's the next 30 days gonna look like,
Mhm.
right? So
Okay,
I'm just kind of tracking, if there's some urgency that's happening within these 30 days, that's gonna be listed so we can track it better.
okay,
I have a novel idea, it's just an idea, and I know it's been around for the whole time since this started. Grant that. Okay. But these are big projects and multi-million dollar projects. And it's a lot of responsibility. And since the time that we had approved, and designs came back, and then our people who was gonna do it and get all that done, and that got approved till today. It's been a fairly long time. And to you, that might be normal. To me, it's not. Just a novel idea. Should we hire somebody to manage these projects for us and make sure they get down to how they should be?
That's what I was sharing earlier. Ms. Martinez and her team, that's their responsibility.
That's what
She just says you have 60 projects and, this is a lot.
They do.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying, it's just a novel idea. And I prefaced it by saying, I know you just came basically on board the last 2 years, maybe 3 or 4 years. So I prefaced it for that, okay? Pointing anything.
No. That was a part of the organizational change because we recognized that as the managers could not facilitate the grants, the special projects and the like, housing.
Then I'd
So
like to keep that just
have a
open.
projects team to
An idea that's
help
open.
facilitate that.
If, it's not progressing how it should be, because you guys have 60 projects, and you probably only have 3 or 4 people working it. I don't know how many people you got,
yeah, I would love to have more staff, of course, that makes it easier, but also keep in mind that we work with city staff. So our projects have to go through their departments before, and that may take time too. We have to work with contract administration, we work with mobility to be doing these projects. We try to expedite some of the projects instead of going to do a request for a proposal. We try to work on a contract that city already has, a multi-year contract with the design team, and then we get a work order, so that's faster.
so I think
So-
interesting question, is your team work for the CRA or you work for the city?
See, well, it's a CRA team, but I mean, Paige is really the city. It's a contract that the CRA has with the city to supply them with staff,
So the.
but they work CRA, they're just
Staff
CRA
is-
staff, yeah.
CRA
Nate
staff.
and Bryce, I have Nate, Bryce, Lisa, and Corey. So Corey is a project coordinator for Arts Project and anything public realm. Lisa and Nick, they work on, projects, construction, whether it's parks, whether it's gonna be, cleaning, because we also do environmental cleanup. We work with solid waste department, environmental cleanup, when we purchase properties that has to be cleaned up before we can build on them. I have Bryce, and then I have Bryce with the urban planner. And he's the one that takes care of updating the CRPs and doing the planning, the pre-planning, the design portion of Beaver Park. He's working on it right now. Once it becomes construction, it will get transferred into Kisa. Nick, I don't remember who that signed, but, so we work like everything, when we purchase a property to do a park, then, we first have to make sure that it's environmentally safe. If it's environmentally safe, then we go into, making sure that getting the site plan and getting an urban, a design team. So my urban plan takes care of that.
So, okay, I understand that. So you guys are not city staff, you're CRA staff.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that's a big difference.
Mhm.
Let's keep that on the table though. But if it comes to the point that this gets very complicated with other things that you're working, talk about getting someone for us.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I know when you just said that you did a lot of reorganization.
Yes, sir.
I wonder if because I remember when I went to the big meeting for the state of Florida, when we were talking to CRS, they talk about liaisons from these individual CRAs that would have a lot more input in their own particular part of the world. Whereas in the city of Tampa, it's sort of an umbrella. Like all the East Tampa, all of them are under one city of Tampa, like we couldn't have our own webpage, for example. We would have to do it under the city of Tampa. So not to say that I want any more work. I'm not saying that that's the case. But I'm just wondering, I wonder with the redevelopment, if there wouldn't be a way to have each of the different CRAs have some kind of person that would be in our individual group that would be able to meet with somebody in the staff, the city staff.
You mean, I just want to make sure I'm clear, like, one of.
Like a volunteer, I mean, we're obviously not being paid, whereas we're paying your staff to do that. So would it, and not just through Park, I mean, like East Hampton, you know, would that be something that would be legal or whatever to interface with, you know, so that it's, all the pressure isn't on you guys to disseminate information. It would be maybe a representative from each of the groups to go and meet with somebody.
Well, that's ultimately would be the role that the managers play.
Oh, that's like field.
Right, and then, having that conduit of communication between the chair and the members of the CAC as well.
Right. So, and that's part of our issues is that, you know, we have had turnover, you know, we had. So,
I don't quite think that, I took your questions differently. Your proposal is different.
how did you understand it?
I think you were talking about a designated person as maybe volunteer or what have you to assist in the conversation and the liaison in between meetings and so forth, you know, with the special project, is that it? Or
Just with the,
you know?
like, the projects that are going on, somebody that would be, so that you don't have to have one of your staff go to each individual.
You're talking about between the CRA and the CRA staff, okay, and
And,
city,
yeah,
city,
right,
and city,
Right.
not with, between us and our manager, right? It's
Right.
someone that's gonna say, hey, there's no permit coming, what happened, the deadline missed, what's going on, that type of
right,
thing.
something like that. I just didn't
Which
know
is-
if it's even
Goes
legal.
back to what I was saying, to keep the novel idea open, I think you just said it in a different way.
Just a thought, a question, I guess, is more than what it is.
So I propose that we keep that open as an idea, because, you know, Susan came up with it too in a different angle, but it's really close to the same thing. So it may be that we're seeing a need. So,
Also, I really appreciate the idea that you have this targeted mailer, because I know the businesses around here are so individual. Drew Park is such a unique community that, you know, to have mailers or something, hopefully people won't just toss it in the garbage or whatever, but, you know, I think the communication is really critical of, you know, all the things like you said, if it comes into an article in the newspaper that says we weren't doing anything, then somehow we're not communicating to the people at large that there are things going on.
I guess we're done with discussion items and presentations. Melissa and Cedric, welcome to stay.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Please.
Thank you.
And I know Melissa probably is like, I want to go.
Sorry.
Thank you, Melissa, for coming.
You're welcome anytime.
Right.
Yeah.
We welcome your presence. Okay, so next going on is new location for CAC meeting.
Yeah, well, I thought you need your suggestions, it might help, because the only place I can think of is, that we can get is, one police station, and that's not the best accommodating location. Hard to park there, it's, at the big gate kept all the way to the back, and people don't want to go there.
I mean, my place is always open. I've always offered it. You're welcome to it. So
Well, not sure.
that's an option.
You were gonna find out whether that was legal for us to have an individual place.
Yes, we can
You can.
yeah, we can do it.
Do we have to make a motion?
No, I was wanting to see if anybody else have any other suggestions. New locations within the district, that's what's hard to find within the district.
What's wrong with this place? There's,
Agency is, no longer hosting events after May, at the end of May, after June 1st, yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
we've been,
No pressure, Mr. Payne.
we've been friendly, in a friendly way. No, no, they're not, opening up to the public anymore after the end of the semester.
I think it mostly relates to the raise. There may be other factors I'm not aware of, but the direction in early spring was that a move was likely this summer. I don't know how to rate those odds today, but that was the assumption we've been working on, is that this campus would be in transition.
I tried out Lopez Park as the closest thing. They don't have availability in the evening. They have some taekwondo class, so we really good there. So I guess we're gonna have to, just have to do this.
Does, I know you have Wi-Fi for the recording and that kind of thing there?
You have a projector and everything. I have to see what's big.
No, there's probably a projector there.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have screens, I have projectors, I have audio, I have chairs, I have tables.
Lots of audio.
Lots of parties.
Lots of coffee. Right.
So if anyone,
It's up to you. I mean,
No, I
we can also go to the airport and sit by the Pelican.
Oh my God.
Oh, the Flamingo. Pelican's the new one. You just haven't heard about it.
Nope.
It's a Flamingo.
no, so then, if
You
we're
want
all,
me to ask about going to Sky Center? I mean,
yes.
You have a new, operational building that's on Air Cargo Road, right? Or is that was just built? Or is that, are there any of those buildings along Air Cargo? No, okay.
The airport is not anything to do. There's some W property right there in their dugout.
C8 building?
Yeah, but,
Yeah, the closer to Hillsborough?
for like, training for the pilots, right?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the Sky Center a possibility? If,
I'd have to check. I don't. I'll have to get back to you.
I just like the region. I would love to do this.
Yeah, that would be interesting to.
But, so, once I hear back from Mr. Carlson about the Sky Center, for now, we're gonna,
I can withdraw mine.
no,
We can, we can.
well, we don't know that's a guarantee.
No pressure.
No, that's a guarantee.
Huh?
We don't know that's a guarantee, so we're
I
gonna.
just to continue with yours
Yeah,
and
you can withdraw, you know, and we'll find somewhere else.
No.
No, it's perfectly fine.
And you
It's
need
perfectly
your space. You don't
fine.
have a place to do it?
It's perfectly fine. Okay?
I would continue with what you're doing.
No, it's okay.
And-
Really, let's go towards the airport or
Right.
But
somewhere
then,
else.
but if we can't go to the airport, then we need.
If we don't have any confirmation for the airport now, don't we have to make a decision about the June meeting before we leave this meeting?
Well, and I know we don't have, we're not being people away to come to meetings. So it's just a matter of convenience for our constituents to come to the meetings. And to, you know, like I said, I'm not familiar with the airport, which is just logistics of getting there versus maybe like the location right here in Drew Park. So I just say that we have heavily weighted the impact of constituents coming to the meetings.
You know, I do think you make a good point, just because at the airport, if for like the public's sake, if they were to go to the Sky Center, you know, you either have to pay to park in the short term or long term.
There's a parking
Or
lot
you
there.
park in the free parking, you take the tram over. But I just,
We have a visitor lot right in front of Sky Center.
and that's open to the public, anybody can just pull in there and park. Oh, I thought you needed a badge to park in there. Okay, then never mind. The matter.
I do agree with you though. And as far as just from a locality standpoint, I mean, if businesses are here, local residents, I mean, it's probably easier to go to a local business.
I think it's 6 1, half a dozen the other. It's super close, and I'm sure half the people are coming from somewhere to this anyway. I was just concerned about having to pay to park or something, but there's free parking there.
So, let's move on to manager's
Wait.
report.
What did we settle on? We're going to be moving into,
The airport.
but what if we can't confirm? We have to have it for June.
I mean, I've been saying this for months and it's still a question. It's okay. We're gonna go to the airport, and if it's not the airport, we go somewhere else. We'll look for it. I'm straight up, Felix. I've been offering this, and if we're still at this point, it's not acceptable, then we're gonna go over there. I'll go somewhere else. I'm fine. I don't play around. Okay, next
If it'll
one,
be,
managers
I'll have to
report,
do TPD if you can't get together.
Yeah. managers report.
I know we all want to gather quickly and for 6:30. Does anybody want me to read through it or do you have any questions about it? Has anyone not read it? I'll go through the highlights. So we're already aware the gateway signs are completed. They've all been, put back. And, as Corey came here last month and discussed, we're looking for a new location for the mission signs now. The Lois Avenue and Linear Park, traffic spectacles, they should be installed by June 2026. Lois and Grady Avenue Streetscape Project, we have public meeting on May 18th. Mobility safety plan, consultant is finalizing the field construction plans. And that's what we're hoping to have them come in June to the CAC to present that to you all. Hubert Avenue Park. You heard all these updates from Melissa just now, so she gave a better details than I can give. Coolidge and Hubert property, affordable housing unit, spot. B is working on the RFP and it's anticipated to be released before the end of this year. We're trying to figure out what the right property type of build would be there, and so we're working on that now. And we hope to get an RFP out for the end of the year. The CRA is hosting a housing fair on June 6th. The flyers in the back of your packet. It's gonna be at the Fairfield Community Center in East Tampa, but it's open to everyone in the city and the CRAs. The flyers in the back of the packet. Commercial development grants are now accepting applications for pre-development grants, sorry. So if anyone's interested in the pre-development grant or knows someone who may be interested in the pre-development grant, the flyers are also in the back of this package. On Wednesday, April 22nd, the CRA grants team had a special workshop to unveil their updated special projects and commercial development grants. And I've included the packet here for anyone who was able to attend. So the presentation that they gave was here in this package for you all to review in better detail. And if you have further questions about the grant program particularly, the grant team has to reach out to them directly and they'll be glad to give you any answering questions, about policy or procedure. That's really my updates for today. I don't have that many. We went over project trackers already. For the grants, tracker, there's one pre-development grant that's been there for a while in pending, status. So, maybe we'll have more information for, a next month meeting. In our housing tracker, same stats, no actual movement in the grants so far for Drew Park. The budget, it's the standard budget that the finance department produces, but we already have talked about updating our FY 26 reallocations and our FY 27 projections. The FY 26 reallocations are going to be going to the board now in June. I'm sorry, in May, on May 12th. Where they'll approve the reprogramming that you all did for the current year's budget. And then September, July, the budget for FY 27 will be reviewed by the board. Any questions on any of these?
What do you mean by encumbrance?
Encumbrance?
Yeah.
Those are funds that have been put aside, they've been encumbered, but they haven't been spent yet. But like,
Actual is funds that have actually been spent.
yes, they've already paid out. Any questions about any of these updates or anything else I can answer for you all? Oh, there is an update I did put on here. We got that sign.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
I took a picture. I meant to send it to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I waved my thanks to the guy who was doing it. It looks so much better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still couldn't figure out what that was supposed to be for, but I
And
found
a massive concrete foundation.
Yeah.
They had to, yeah.
So actually, I just found out today that it was supposed to be a part of some piece that highlighting some of the history of Drew Park or Drew Field. But I don't think that ever materialized, so it was there, and then I know that last year the tree fell on it, or something for that.
Yeah,
So,
so 24.
right, Correct. So,
There's a counter part at the other end of the park, but it's still okay, so
Yeah.
if we ever, I guess, move forward with that piece, it could be,
Yeah, thanks for your help doing that.
no problem. Able to finally break through the bureaucracy and figure out who we can get it done, and we got it done. So I'm glad we were able to get that done. Has there any questions tonight? Oh. Good.
Do you have no business?
No, I don't.
The only thing I have is that, I happened to go to a workshop yesterday that was put on by the CRA. The city council, actually. City council. About the race. And so, you can watch it. I encourage you to watch it, to find it. Just daily encourage you to watch it. It is 3 hours. I sat there for 3 hours. Michael sat there for 3 hours. I encourage you to watch. Basically, on my part, which I did ask if you speak of 7% on our behalf. It is basically, I just let them know that three reporters approached me to see what we felt as a board. I basically said, in a nutshell, no comment. But there wasn't no comment because I didn't want to comment, no comment because nobody's come to talk to us or asked to meet with us. Somehow they were under the impression from the reporter, and I said that yesterday. Not one way or another, we just don't know. We haven't been, we haven't dialogue, they haven't dialogue with us. Basically, I really do encourage you to watch it. And it will be presentations at the beginning, and they have questions to the people who did the presentations. And then at the end, there's public meetings. Public meetings were really very interesting. Some people just all dressed up in rains. And there are other people who had different perspectives and really some good ideas as well, honestly. And it's really worth looking into. I encourage you. I'm next to last, I think. So you gotta wait a long time, most speed up to hear if you want to hear me. But if you want to hear Michael and someone in the middle. And so is Cedric. Anyway, that happened yesterday. So my comment to the, when I had the report about 2 weeks ago was, the reporter called me back and she was like, oh, we talked to the Rays, and the Rays said they did the same thing, no comment. I don't know. We haven't had that dialogue, whatever. And she said she had talked to the Rays, and the Rays had spoken to to the CAC, which is us, and that we had said that we were completely on board supporting everything they wanted. And I was like, okay. And that was with the reporter coming back to, hey, you said this, but they say this. I'm like, well, I don't know who, she don't know to me. I'm like, first time you work it. So yesterday, I was able to say that again. I wasn't in favor or against because number one, we haven't spoken to them as a group, right? So how can I say anything one way or another? But honestly, we don't have information. So how could we? I mean, the only thing I did say was I ran into somebody yesterday, after hours, somebody I think who worked with him a lot, the owner. And the owner was nice. I introduced myself to him at the end. And he said that this was outside the guy. I think this just kind of sums it up. He says, oh, hey, now you know who to go talk to. And I said, you mean now they know who to go talk to? And I said, it's kind of funny. I said, when you go to somebody's house, you're not going to door. Go to somebody's house, you're not going to door. It's not on our door. And like I said very clearly publicly, it's not one way or another. I'm not against it and I'm not for it.
Sorry to interrupt, Marissa. Did they, during the presentation, did they discuss some of the financial implications for those incentives? The implications for the CRA and how that would work, that might be relevant to us as a group?
There was a lot of information I was listening to the first time. That's why I'm hoping that I'm going to watch it. But it's very superficial. Everything's very superficial and raw, okay? Everybody's presentation, honestly, every single presentation.
Right.
Now, I did miss the first 40 minutes, okay? So I can't tell you, let me back that up, okay? The only parts that perked me up were like money from the CRA. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like.
Well, I mean, that's the root of my question is to understand, if funds from the CRA budget go to support the stadium construction, what does that leave for the CRA? And when I asked sort of general background questions about it at the orientation, they let us know that there just hadn't been an ask yet, so there wasn't anything to discuss. But now that has started to become more of a visible topic, I'm wondering if some of those mechanics could be added to the agenda for our next meeting and perhaps understanding what that
Money is
means.
our money, and it's been allocated, and I think you made that clear in your presentation.
Correct. So, ma'am,
Of course.
yes, seventh grade Tampa CR director. So, yes, I was requested to be in attendance at the meeting to present, related to just the financing and, specifically the chair, Mr. Glendon requested because he wanted to see the, TIF allocation over the last 10 years. So I did provide a slide that, was shown and it talked about the increases from 2016 to FY 26. Which is right at about 3.6, $3.8 million, if I remember correctly. One thing that I did add was the information that Ms. Martinez just showed, the project list, because I wanted to make sure that whoever was aware, the board, council, and that state, they were aware of the projects that were forthcoming, that you all, and I mentioned that during my comments, Mr. Marino, I know, that, the CAC has let us know a couple of years ago, these are the priorities. So this is what we've been working towards. And I think there was another question related to the linear park, and I knew that it was somewhere in the range of less than 5, but Ms. Hurtek asked that question, and we did find out that it was 3.75 million for the linear park piece. And so I did share that with her following the course of the meeting at the conclusion last night. So for the record, we have not, as a CRA, I have not had any direct conversations with anyone from the RAISE organization. I imagine that's going to start to change recently, So, but in the event there is any questions related to the CAC or attending a meeting, I will definitely let Mr. Nunez know, and then they will be on the agenda. So you won't be, surprised by it.
And I will add, your presentation was very good, actually.
Thanks.
Not saying that because you're here. It represented us well, and Councilman Hurtak, and you'll see it, oh my God, someone encouraged you to see it. It did ask, these projects are basically covered, and we're gonna be able to cover the additional one with the increments between the linear park, but in this case, it could also be, something deviation. But
So let's say 3 years from now, the stadium's been built, they've used the CRA funding as a part of the stream that goes to fund that stadium. Will there be additional funds 3 years from now to do these types of projects that we want to do? Safety, mobility, or will all of these funds be going to, in perpetuity towards the stadium?
so are you giving it to them? Because we have our own projects that are funded already. We're funded out. We
Right.
haven't got anything to give.
Well, I guess I'm seeing how we're spending the funds that have already been collected. We have these projects that were funded in the past. Going forward, there will be more funds that will fund additional projects 3-5 years from now. Those additional projects in the future, will they be possible with funds, or will they not be possible because those funds go to the stadium?
So that would all go back to whatever the MOU is and how that works out. I think it's in the chief of staff kind of shared that there have been some discussions, but it's very preliminary at this particular point in time. If you go back and watch the meeting, I believe there was a question asked. I'm glad Mr. Verhero was there because it related to bonding. More than likely, that's probably going to have to be the avenue to do that. And there's some logistical things that have to take place. If you remember, if you've been on CAC for over a year, last legislative session, I was having conversations with you all about the bill in the House and the Senate to, alleviate or do away with CRAs. So now there's session was done. They're having a special session to discuss property taxes. And that could have a severe impact on community redevelopment areas, any municipalities, counties, because, we use those
Yeah.
tax dollars or TIF dollars to do the work for these projects that we're trying to move forward. So that could severely impact it. And then if the property tax structure changes, then, would a bonding agency want to essentially,
Right.
go through that process? And then on top of that, there could be, we're looking at Drew Park, it's scheduled to sunset, and that was a part of the presentation last night, 2034. So
It would have to be extended.
I alluded to during my presentation, the possibility of doing it before, and Drew Park is actually scheduled. We're going to be working on that here soon to go ahead and update the community redevelopment plan. Rule of thumb is, and I think you probably heard it during the orientation, if it's not in the plan, we can't justify, the expense. So,
I think there were some people that actually brought that up, of the scope of the CRA monies and what it can be used for.
Correct.
That was brought up, and there was some other, I said, there's a lot of detail, and I was hearing a lot of it, and I missed a good 40 minutes of it. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, I encourage, I need to go back and watch it too, but I don't think it's, I mean, I may be wrong, but it wouldn't be based on like what you said, that somebody can just go make a decision to take our money.
Yeah, okay.
that one.
And my question was, I haven't looked at, everything involved, but they were saying something about the acreage that was the raised project, and I was just wondering, has there ever been a map that actually shows where that acreage goes and what's involved in that, or?
I can't speak to that.
No, right, I don't think it,
Very general, so
Yeah.
it's just sort of blocked out. There's no detail to any of the plans.
okay, good, because I
don't.
was thinking I was missing something.
Yeah, they don't have a site plan. They have projected, 120 acres, which is essentially this block of land. And they projected it to be 6 to 8 million square feet. So our comments of support, yesterday was, if you compare that kind of ratio of acreage to square footage, it's comparable to West Shore Plaza and comparable to Midtown Tampa. So it's, and both those properties have height restrictions because of near how close it is to the airport. So that part makes sense. But to Chris's point, you have the CRA here, you have this property here. That part is gonna have to be negotiated because it happened downtown with Water Street. Water Street actually retained some of the funding for themselves. And then a portion goes to the CRA in downtown. So that's that part of MOU. And the thing that happened today is now the Rays may be asking for a non-binding MOU because they want the ability to go to the state of Florida and get the funding for HCC. So they need to at least say, okay, we're on the path, rather than have a binding MOU, which there's not enough time to negotiate to get a binding version.
What is MOU?
Memorandum of understanding,
Memory.
memorandum of understanding. So not a contract, but basically saying, hey, here's the parameters. We still have all this to figure out, but we're committed to figuring it out. But they need to show something to state of Florida to get that money for Hillsborough College. I'm still gonna call it HCC.
All right, well, that's helpful. Yeah, I mean, the forces outside my control, but I'm just curious if the proposed funding CRA stream meant a reduction of our, kind of community use funds.
No, that would all have to be negotiated, because the TIF funding is selected on, we have a baseline, and then we get whatever else. So, and currently, right now, I believe it's 80% that, is collected.
Let's reassure
to in the Drew Park too. So,
And just, I don't know if this is obvious or not, but if this development were to happen, wouldn't it generate funds that would then go towards?
The question will be, will they pay tax, will they pay impact?
Yeah, that's
So
what
are they
I'm
gonna
just
get away with it? I
wondering.
mean, I don't know.
Would they
Those
be
things still
exempt?
happen.
Would
that all has to be
Sound like,
negotiated.
you go, that's MOU, say?
That's exactly, that's the MOU lines up, because in some circumstances, these teams pay rent essentially because the stadium is publicly owned. To use the Water Street example, if you create like a community development, a community district, like a subdivision, then that allows for a certain level of bonding based off of what the properties pay in terms of property taxes, which is one of the funding mechanisms for Water Street.
Right.
So if that scenario comes to bear, then Drew Park as a CRA may benefit, but then the Rays are retaining everything on that site. So yes, Drew Park values increase, the money's captured for the TIF, but it's not being captured for the Rays portion. But this is part of the negotiating process.
Hmm.
But our letter that we put together, the West Shore Alliance, yeah, we looked at commercial property value in West Shore and in Drew Park for the last 3 years, and then specifically for last year. Drew Park and West Shore are behind Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa in terms of commercial property value growth. So the justification for us supporting it was for the West Shore District in particular, there needs to be a regeneration, there needs to be a reinvestment from the public perspective into the West Shore District, because there's no CRA for West Shore, the revenue here is generated and dispersed throughout the county and throughout the city. So there's a real need to regenerate that, and that's something we as the West Shore Alliance have talked to council about the last few years, and the land use is changing in West Shore. So you could do more mixed use, and obviously Drew Park is part of that. So going forward, really the only restriction on development in West Shore, inclusive of Drew Park, is the airport flight paths, because then that influences obviously use in some circumstances, in addition to height.
So I'm just gonna tell you something funny, because I know a lot of other series are gonna think this funny. But when I was sitting there, somebody mentioned funds for CRAs, I'm like, downtown CRAs, possibly Ybor City, because like they already have entertainment and they have hotels and, that'll benefit from the stadium and people coming in, right? So that's where my mind was going. And then I heard Drew Park, I'm like, what? What? Huh? So, but really think about it. Who are the CRAs that are gonna benefit like that from the stadium, is the hotels and the entertainment and the restaurant, right? Those are the other CRAs, so, they be wanting to look, sorry, whoever's listening to this. Okay, they may be wanting to look at those CRAs that are directly gonna be impacted by movement and entertainment and hotel stays, and Visit Tampa Bay will get their percentage and et cetera. Okay, anything else?
I just asked who all plan on joining this,
Try to, I just put it on my calendar.
because I was thinking of definitely doing this.
Well, the important thing about going is that we'll find out what's going on. I'll go back there.
So it's gonna be here,
Yes,
Okay.
the last official
you last
event.
In this room.
The room.
in this room, okay, all right, I'll come.
Anything else?
Just CRA board meeting, next Thursday, the 18th is the engagement session here. And, our next meeting is June 3rd, location TBD.
That you're presenting for us on May 12th, right? Because is that where the budget gets approved for the final budget for the stuff that we talked about last Saturday?
No, the budget won't be up for discussion until July 23rd.
Our reprogramming
Yes.
is up in June. Yeah, that's gonna be.
June meeting, not
June.
May. So then you'll be presenting, you'll be presenting, okay, got it. So June is the meeting.
Yes.
Oh, wait a second, does everybody want to meet? Anyone do a motion?
Make a motion. to
Anyone
adjourn.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't start working at night.
Pictures.